Show. Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show. Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show. Tune on in, come on, let's go.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about last week. Don't know what happened there. Somehow Tom got control. That will never happen again. Do not worry. I am back. My name is Jay Eggman. This is episode 23 of the Opinion Zone podcast. I'm joined by actually quite a varied bunch today. Usually we have Fuad, Poxxy, Donnie and Tom. Unfortunately, the only one of those that's here today is Tom. Never mind. Hello Tom, you alright? You recovering from last week?
Never let me host a show again. Okay?
No, don't worry. Never going to happen again.
I'll do any part, just never let me host it.
I'm joined by a variety of different people today. Unfortunately, Fuad is unavailable due to him collecting things and being Canadian. So I have searched my Canadian database and I found the wonderful Let's Player Amiibo hoarder. Tanner.
You know, I'm not even going to deny the hoarding part. I'm really not. It's getting to a point where I come back home every week and there's 3 or 4 new ones. And I'm just like, oh, hey, they're here. My mom's like, where are you getting this money from? And I tell her YouTube. And then she's like, you're in university. Why aren't you using that for books? And no, it's terrible. But hi, I'm back.
Hello.
I'm replacing Fuad.
Unfortunately, also, we do not have a Uncle Poxxy. But don't worry, because I went through my miserable old Git database. And I found Pete, also known as Titan's Creed.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome back. You're probably like one of our repeat visitors. This is like your 3rd appearance, I think, or possibly 4th, because you've done at least 2.
I've done at least one other Opinion Zone in recent memory.
You've done one of the recent one, and you've done one back in a very early episode. Yeah.
Way back in the day.
So you're like almost a regular in your regularness. And we have a guest from the wonderful world. Actually, not wonderful because they've never said anything nice about me. But from the world of Sonic Retro, a lovely place which has commented only nice things about videos we've made, and probably one of my favourite writers on the website. We have David the Lurker.
Hello. That's me. I'm David the Lurker. I'm an administrator on Sonic Retro. How are you?
If you
now we wait for their answer.
If you want to know who wrote the review for Return to Little Planet 2, here he is. His Twitter will be in the description. You can send hate that way. Now, today we are discussing one of the most treasured not franchises, but comic series ever. One that has been discussed to death, despite not actually publishing really anything yet. Despite apparently movie being in the works and talks, because we're going to discuss the wonderful world of Ken Penders.
Oh,
no. Here we go.
It's definitely wonderful.
It is a wonderful world. He obviously started in the world of Archie, has moved on, had a slight bit of a hiccup with the legal rights of characters. I don't even know where to begin. It's just he's such an overwhelming
twat.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could always start back in 1993 when, what did he do? Right, because his kid was into Sonic.
Yes.
And, now I can't remember who, whoever was in the editor at the time, I should know this, because I've thought about it so often, where he was basically asked, hey, do you know anything about Sonic? We're working on this comic. We've got no idea what we're doing. And he was just like, oh, well, my kid likes Sonic. And that's basically how he got into the world of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Archie book. He wasn't there from the beginning, but he was pretty early. His first published work was in issue 9. And that was The Good, the Bad, and the Hedgehog when he introduced Evil Sonic and the concept of alternate zones being parallel universes traversed through the cosmic interstate.
Wasn't this when they also introduced Sonic?
Oh, that
Time
was
Cop?
way later, but I mean, it's the same concept because he took that idea, then he made a sequel in issue 17, which involved the Borg hand and Robo Robotnik and introducing all of that.
Yeah.
And then way later on, the idea of Sonic came about, but Ken didn't actually create Sonic, but it did fit into the mythology that he was creating over time. So.
He basically was the ultimate fanfic writer.
You could say that because he started work on other licensed properties. He drew a few issues of Star Trek and the Next Generation that was being published at DC. He did some work on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. back when that show wasn't on the air and nobody, I guess, really cared about it at the time. But because I mean nowadays,
amazing.
Yeah,
Man from U.N.C.L.E. was amazing.
Because, I mean, nowadays there are so many licensed comics based on old shows, but at the time, I think it just flew under the radar. But yeah, I mean, Sonic, that was his bread and butter. And he's said a lot about it over the years.
So, what is he doing? I mean, so, obviously, he eventually left and moved on. Do you think when you create these things for another...
Left.
Well, it's sort of like the reasons he left are kind of fuzzy because, like, after Carl Ballers left the book, which I'm not sure if he walked away or if he was fired, but they gave the book back to Ken. The sales did bump up a little bit, but when they decided to go in a different direction because they got a new editor and they brought in Ian Flynn, at first they were like, well, Ken, you can still work on it as like an artist and an inker. And I think it's either 168 or 169 where he does ink like a backup story. But he says that what he wanted to do, he wasn't able to do anymore. So he walked away on his own.
So when they took creative control away from him, basically, this is what you're saying.
Yeah, because he had this whole outline of what he wanted to do, like up to issue 200, although he only revealed up to 175 exactly what he was going to do. But, I mean, when Ian came in and just completely changed everything...
For the better.
Yeah, because he was supposed to finish Mobius 25 years later in a two-parter, and then Ian ended up writing those issues, but I guess what Ken wanted to do and what the editor said that he should do, they butted heads because the editor really wanted Shadow to be part of the story, and that's why it suddenly shifts over to this whole King Shadow business, which was not part of Ken's original outline. Ken didn't want to put Shadow in it because he felt it didn't add to what the story he was trying to tell was, and since he had no control over that, he just walked away because he used to have a lot of freedom, not just from the people who were the editors and other writers, but even Sega was just like, oh, we don't care what you do as long as you don't make Sonic cry. Like, that was the biggest thing. They didn't want Sonic to cry because it didn't look cool. And that was as much issue as Ken had for the longest time about what he really wanted to do on that book. So,
just quickly bring it up on... No, you first.
Doesn't Sonic cry when he break up with Sally or something? Like, I'm pretty sure that there's things of Sonic crying in the Archie.
Well, in the later 130s, I think they kind of lessened what they could show. But even Tracy Yardley, I think, yeah. When he drew those two issues of Mobius 25 years later, there was a scene where Sonic is crying because he realizes that his marriage never happened and his kids were never born. Originally, he drew really large tears and oh, you're really upset. But Sega said, oh, you got to tone that back. So back during the golden age of Ken Penders' tenure, around issue 50, there were scenes where Sonic was drawn and he was supposed to look upset or there was supposed to be some form of tears. But Sega said, no, you need to change that. So instead, Sonic just looks tired or bored, but he's supposed to look sad. So over time, they kind of loosened up on it, but not as much as Ken wanted to do. And I mean, at that point, Ken wasn't writing the main story. He was focusing on the future stuff, which is, of course, what ties into the Lara-Su Chronicles.
So, Do you think he had a right to those characters that he...
No.
No.
See, I want to say no, and I kind of want to say no, yeah.
In all fairness, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand if he created the characters and such, then technically, by default, he has creative right over set characters. But
he didn't
he's creating
create them
characters
independently. He created them under this thing that isn't his.
He doesn't
And
have...
it's not like he look...
He doesn't have rights to the original characters. I mean, spinning round to what Jay said earlier on about him being a fanfic writer, isn't that what a lot of comic book work realistically is these days? Is just all fanfic writing. So here's something else. I mean, if Ken Penders was still editor and had all the creative control and Ian Flynn didn't come in, do you reckon he would have just brought in the Lara-Su into the official Archie world just as a side story and just kept it going that way?
Possibly, because of the whole Sonic Universe thing that's been going on for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally since Archie's gone on with the Sonic Universe, each 4 chapters has kind of just been like a mini arc, which at first was in different sections and different stories entirely, are now starting to converge into one. Like, this happened at this time, and so on and so forth. So the idea of Penders potentially, if he was still creative, had creative control, doing that with the Lara-Su Chronicles is very likely could have been the case.
Yeah, I mean, he wrote Mobius 25 years later as a backup strip. It was in 14 issues, starting like what was it, 131 to 144, I believe. It's been a little while. I did write 50,000 words on the subject.
No, I read them.
Oh yeah, that was something. But yeah, I think because he had introduced the concept a couple years before, and he had stated that in his mind, like the story of Sonic and the Robotnik Wars and all of that was done in his head, and he was really more interested in seeing what happened in the future. So Lara, I think Mobius, because the original idea of Knuckles 20 years later was just supposed to be a 48-page special, and probably not even run the whole 48 pages. But he thought about it more and more, and the way that it ended abruptly under his pen, I think that he would have been fine with that, like being a backup strip for almost eternity. You know, as long as he was able to write. I think he wanted to work on Lara-Su and all of those aspects of the future Mobius that he didn't even touch on because he was too busy world building just the small sphere that he got to.
I mean, from the 25 years later arc that actually did get released, from episodes like 167, 168, and then the Sonic Universe of, I believe it was 25 years later as well. That was like issue 9 to 12 or 11, I think it was.
I think it was 5 to 8 because it was the follow-up to the Shadow
Saga,
I believe. Yeah, that was 30 years later because
yeah.
Sonic has kids, woo!
Indeed.
It doesn't matter that they died, whatever.
But the thing is, how it was created from that point was actually quite interesting in my opinion. It was like, it didn't dwell on it, and it did seem a little out of place at first because I just came into it randomly. But when I look at it from the universe side of things, the story itself makes a really good like sub story just on the offside. But as I say, it's offside. Should have nothing to do with the main story. This is a sense of a probability.
The problem with anything that foretells the future in any sort of thing that keeps to its own canon is that eventually, if your story goes on that long, it has to hit that point. So, I mean, he's obviously looked either at continuing 25 years later as its own thing continuously so he can continue that thorough story, or he was based on the illusion that he would have been in creative control for the entirety of that length to get the story up to that point and push things towards what he wanted there without a thing of, you know, if he was going to leave or anything else. That's the problem with any sort of forward-thinking ideal, I guess. Like, and you see it in it's something which is really big in what TV series is the worst for it, because you see it all the time in that sort of thing, like anything that can foretell the future. And it's a really big. I don't want to say trope because it's not really a trope, but it's just the ideal of forward thinking and then bringing it back. So I think it's more of an idea that he just wanted to just put in so many things, and I assume that's why when Flint came in, regardless of what happened regarding the court ideal, is why they brought in the whole reset button in the Genesis arc thing, because it just resets everything, including anything that Penders might have put into action that everybody can just refer to.
You mean the reset thing that they've done nearly 3 times now?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
that was a half reset and then a big reset.
Right, because the Genesis arc, that reset didn't really change much of anything. It was just we had a fun story where it's almost the game universe, but Sally, Antoine, and Rotor are there hanging out. And then when they did the Mega Man thing, I think if Ian had his way, there's no way that he would have said, "Oh, we're starting from square one." He would have wanted to continue what he was working on with the Mecha Sally stuff and Linda and the Dark Egg Legion and whatever was actually supposed to happen with the
and
echidnas.
Dr. Finitas, I think it's called. I can't pronounce.
Oh yeah, you mean Dr. Zachary? Wait,
Yeah, no, literally, both the original Sonic the Comic in the UK version, I should say, and Archie. I don't know why, but their obsession with having one echidna being white, who's a psychotic madman / android. I don't know why. I just don't know why.
I think it's to do with what's the word? Begins with an A. Albino. Albinoism.
Albino, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. It's to make a character so radically different than one you already know that you can just. You got to remember that these things are advertised to children, and so it's easier for if you see one character that's red and one character that's white to go, these are really radical characters and they're so different. I don't really know how that would work in Archie because there are a lot of echidnas in that, aren't there?
All the echidnas virtually are pink, red, or orange. So Finitas is the only white echidna due to an experiment that went horribly wrong /
So again, it's radical differences. So you can really easily point out from a crowd and go like. It's the same with anyone given a name in a TV series or movie. You know that they're radically different. You know, it's same sort of concept.
Yeah, but I mean, to kind of tie into Dr. Zachary, Dr. like it's kind of interesting just to see the way that Ken took the idea of Knuckles and how Nigel Kitching took the idea of Knuckles, because there's a when Nigel was asked, he was like, "Yeah, you know, I didn't want to bring in a bunch of other echidnas because he thought that would ruin the story. Like, here's Knuckles, he's on his own. We're going to focus on that. Introducing Dr. Zachary can add an element, but if Knuckles were to ever find his people, that would be the end, and anything after that point would be boring." And then you see Ken, who's like, as soon as he's able to, which is issues 4 through 6 of the ongoing Knuckles series, he brings back everyone, and then it slowly dissolves into this weird political wannabe thriller that goes off the rails and becomes incredibly boring before it's cancelled.
You mean the Knuckles storyline? Where pretty much it's like you have half the echidnas, which is that stayed on the land to fight, to learn and evolve, and half the colony that actually stayed on the island, which flew into the sky, as quoted from the comics.
Well, you see, because Ken's idea of how the echidna civilization works doesn't even make sense to me, because they're supposed to be the quote-unquote good guys that are against technology, and then you have
half of them that use technology.
Right, they all use technology. I mean, they're spying on everyone. And even, like, the citizens have flying cars and all these other things. There's no real difference between the two ideologies except, they have implants and these guys don't. But these guys say they hate technology completely. And that idea also plays into what he's revealed about the Lara-Su Chronicles. And even the way it's presented there doesn't make any sense because, spoiler alert, there's a script segment that he released where Julie Sue goes to the Brotherhood of Guardians, and he's like, she's like, we use technology to save the cities that didn't explode when Mobius exploded, because it begins with the planet exploding. Why not? And there's this one echidna who's like, but why would we do that? We hate technology. And it's like, oh, but there's no reason for you to be mad at the fact that you use technology, because she also wants to start space expeditions to find a hospitable planet. And he says, no, we can't do that. It doesn't make sense, because technology was what was used to save them, was used in their civilization anyway. And for him to go, no, I'd rather just die in the vacuum of space, makes no sense. And that's just... And meanwhile, Lara-Su is running around with her friends having a foot race because she wants to be Guardian, and her friends saying, yeah, you shouldn't be Guardian, and they're having a fight, and they're having this weird, awkward teenage fight. Meanwhile, they should be going through severe post-traumatic stress disorder because their entire planet just exploded, and almost everyone they know is dead. But, whatever.
Foot race, yay. Wow.
Ken Penders.
He's awesome. Yay, him.
I'm still pissed off about the whole Knuckles thing.
Don't worry about it. If more people had bought it, then maybe.
Can I actually touch on something that
Of course.
Dave said?
Yes.
Is he in this actual script? Is he still using names like Mobius and that sort of thing? Is he actually got that in the script, even though he's changed the names of nearly everybody else? Well,
I mean, the only name changes are Knuckles, who's because he's the Praetorian, or however you want to pronounce it, but he has an actual name that I forget offhand. That's not Knuckles, but it's clearly Knuckles. Yeah,
It's
and
Knuckles.
then
Knuckles, yeah.
Cuckles, I don't know. And and then whoever is going to be the analog to Sonic and Sally are assumingly going to have different names, and then he teased that the son of Dr. Robotnik is going to be involved in some regard, which is weird to begin with, because Robotnik was supposed to be the centerpiece of his entire saga that was supposed to connect to the Lost Ones, his Image series that was canceled after a single issue, and was featured in the weird Sonic Image crossover that was in the Sonic Super Special. So he had all these ideas, and it was all supposed to tie in together. But yeah, he's still using Mobius, and he's still using the floating island, because he says they're not actually connected to Sega Sonic, so the rights are apparently a bit fuzzier, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Oh god.
I'd say that only really works in the name of Mobius, because that name is really only connected to the comic world, but the floating island has been referenced in canonical games. So
yeah, but his production company is called Floating Island Productions. If you ever watch the Lost Ones, it's right there.
I don't think the idea or name of Floating Island are copyrighted. I think if he tried, he would try and get it, but it's such a used concept already. It's kind of free source.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. I can see the point behind that.
Right now, if we tried to use Angel Island, I think that would cause problems.
That'd be a little tougher. Tougher.
Yeah.
What is Pender's plans with this absolute shambles of a... What is he doing?
It was more or less doing what I did with the podcast last week. It's an absolute car crash.
I vaguely remember, and I might need to be corrected on this, because obviously there's the biggest thing that's come out of this is the attack on the art. I call it art style, and obviously I'm going to use inverted commas there, and I'm sure Jamie can do some Wizly technology to make that appear on the video. But
look at your screens now for this picture I've just shown everyone else in the chat.
Exactly. But I vaguely recall there being something where he was legitimately tracing the art as well, rather than doing just really bad blur and fade
on
tools
the it's on one preview page. There's actually a redrawn picture of Knuckles with his original hat. And he didn't even draw that one originally, but I think he said he inked it. And he's saying, because I inked that picture, I'm allowed to use it, when it was literally just a mirrored picture of Knuckles on a video screen in the background. It's
The whole saga just sounds like it's something out of a sitcom. Like, that's Ken Penders.
There's one thing I like that he's done. The page that I showed the audience and everyone else of, it's the background. And it's just little details like how it looks like it's just a JPEG of space that's been tilted at an angle, and the top right-hand corner is just crops, and then it's just the picture just stops, and then it's nothing. Like,
no offense, but he also looks a bit cross-eyed now.
So it's like, what? What's going on? No one's gonna follow this series, really.
I'm sure he's got some hardcore followers. They're like, "Oh, Penders, you are God to us." It wouldn't.
Okay, well, I want you to remember, for a while, I was doing videos where I would review Archie comics.
Yep.
I've stopped. The reason for that is every time I would bring up, I would say, oh yeah, I love the art style. There are so many people who get on my butt saying like, that's not Ken Penders' amazing art style. Or, man, I like these characters. That's not Ken Penders' amazing characters. Like, they were rabid for him. And I'm just like, Jesus, guys, can't I be, like, I'm not even putting him down in the video. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying I like this new post-Ken Penders stuff. And they're like, well, it's not as good as the old stuff.
You're not right.
Snuff.
That's it. That's how they all sound. Every single one.
I am waiting for him to hand out the Kool-Aid, as it was.
Well, Ken Penders was the driving force behind the series for like 12 years. Like, his first story was published in '94, and he worked up until 2006. And I mean, he wasn't always the main writer of the Sonic book, but he always, like, there were backup strips after Endgame, where he was like writing stories about Princess Sally and the Wolfpack, and then he was focusing on the Knuckles book. And then when the Knuckles book was canceled, they kept him on, and he was writing the Knuckles stuff as the backup strips to the Sonic thing. So I mean, anyone who was reading the book, I mean, there were bound to be people who were picking up and said, I love the way this is written. So it would make sense that, people would want to know where he was going with the story. But I just feel that, since Ken he was so inspired by the works of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, like with the Fantastic Four, he wanted to recreate that in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. But Sonic is not a superhero. He, at best, is a hero. Yeah, but he, he can be kind of a dick, like especially in Fleetway. He's not the most pleasant person around, and in the games, sometimes he's got a bit of an attitude. He gets annoyed at the player if you don't use the controller after a few seconds. So he's not a superhero, but Ken wanted to create that expansive world of like the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and just the Marvel universe in general from the 60s, where they were throwing in new concepts all the time, and Ken wanted to recreate that. He wanted to emulate his heroes, but Sonic was not the best platform for all of his ideas. And the problem is that all of his other creative outlets, all his other ideas, like the Lost Ones, just never picked up steam. He was successful because of Sonic, and so it makes sense that he would try to go after the characters he created. But while I always thought that, for reprints, like with the archives and other things, that he should be getting royalties, things like that, the idea that he wanted all of his characters back to continue his story when it was so closely tied to Sonic and Knuckles, like without those core components, everything else falls apart. So it never made sense to me that he would want everything back, but it made more sense to me if he just wanted to pursue legal action to get paid royalties for everything that was being reprinted, because Archie was just making free money from all of the Sonic archives, because they're up to what, volume 25 now or something. Most of that is filled with work that Ken did, be it the main story, the backup story. I mean, people still go on like, Endgame can be decisive, but there's just a whole bunch of things that he worked on that you could consider, at the very least entertaining. Some of it was good back in the day. He just went off the rails because I think Ken needs a really strong editor. That's why the work from, say, the early 30s to Endgame is so strong, because one, he had a time limit, and two, he had an editor that was working with him, what can we do? How can we build up to a grand finale for a comic book we think is going to be done by 50 if we're lucky? But after that, when it just became free reign, that's when he started exploring and going off in all of these different ideas and tangents. Given free reign, that I think it just started to fall apart. Not instantly, but when you get to the story arc where there's a story arc where there's politics, and it's who are we going to elect as the next leader of Echidnapolis, and there's some Manchurian candidate stuff happening, and it's the one with that quote that he repurposed about
the really, really inappropriate one.
Right, that. I think that's the point when the Knuckles book just completely fell apart. There were still, it wasn't great, but there were some good ideas going on, because it didn't always focus on everyone. The previous story focused on Knuckles and the Chaotix because he was on the search for Sally's lost mother thing. But yeah, he wanted to just create something expansive. He wanted this epic saga that was Sonic, mostly Knuckles, connected to the Lost Ones, and it
just basically broke away from Sonic.
Right, yeah. It's just...
Now...
It's crazy, I don't...
One thing I don't get, now, I am not hugely into comics. Here and there I am. I don't understand the making behind them, the processes and stuff. When is this thing gonna begin? It feels like Penders has been working on this for a long time without little it doesn't seem like enough progress for the time it's taken. Is that just my hugely uneducated...
To the best of my knowledge, he keeps on having ups and downs with everybody he's, in quotation marks, working with, the people who are running the forums where all the information's going. And everybody he's had working with him, he's some of them have just quit working with him, and he's trying to replace them and everything else. I mean, this is to the best of my knowledge. I mean, the last time I really looked anything into this was a good couple of months ago. And as I mentioned earlier, it's the whole thing about the tracing thing came up, and oh my god, the ideas of nightmares that Jamie's linking on Skype.
Linda's one sexy echidna.
Indeed. But to the best of my knowledge, that he just keeps on having problems with everybody he's working with.
Is it not the other way around? Everyone's just got a problem working with him.
Probably.
Well, no, because the people that are setting up the forum and his moderators are the people that like his stuff, and they're the ones that are falling out with what's going on.
Which isn't a good thing for him. It's just really weird. It's just really strange that this whole thing's still happening. To me, it seems like he wants these characters because I feel like maybe there's a bit of him that if he didn't have any of it, if he started completely from scratch, I don't think he'd have a fan base that interested in actually buying or investing money. So I feel that's why he fought so hard for the characters he did make, because I think it's his only tie to relevance. And now he's got these characters, I don't think he really knows what he's doing with them.
Go on, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when it comes down to it, it's more or less saying that he's fought for these characters, got all these rights, and now he's basically saying, these are mine, I'm going to do anything I want with them. And just doing any old thing, just for the sake of saying, these are mine now. You can't have them, they're mine.
It doesn't seem to be a very clear vision to me. He has all these grand ideas, he's already exploring translations and stuff, which I think is just bizarre that you're already thinking about the other regions and countries you can sell this product to when you haven't even really got a firm foot in making a product in the country you want to start in. He has all these grand ideas, but he doesn't seem to know what. It's like just sitting there going, "Oh, I'd like to make a movie, and it's gonna be all around the world." But when it actually comes to like, right, story arcs, what's going on, what you're doing, why are you doing this dodgy photoshopping JPEGs of space in the background and tracing character? Like, there doesn't seem to be any plan. He just seems to be farting along. It's just.
Well, I found a forum post on his forum from February of this year, where he apologizes for being AWOL, and I've been reading it, and apparently I'm actually, I don't know how to say this, but like, he has been caring for 2 senior citizens, one of which is a filmmaker for his movie who is in his mid-70s.
I mean, that could be the Lost Ones. That could be even the... why can't I think of it?
It is the Lost Ones. It's the Lost Ones and the Republic. That's the other one.
Yeah.
Here. And he says that he's having trouble with, because they're getting older, these 2 older seniors he's taking care of. And then he goes into, okay, here's some shots from the localization. And I only speak minimal French, but I can tell you most of the French is wrong in that. Yeah, it's... He says, I'm especially aware I can seem abrupt and sharp-edged, but it's not from ego or a lack of feeling. He just needs more time to finish it.
I was going to say... no, I can't
go
tell you
on.
what, mine's just a little regarding saying that Tanner sent.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like I said before, I feel like he just needs a really good editor, and he needs to really just solidify what he wants to do, because he said that he wants it to be like a 7-book series, and there's supposed to be graphic novels or whatever it's going to translate to the app, and like some of the things, like the fact that he traced Anthony Mackie's face, it doesn't bother me as much as it does other people, because in like professional comic book world, like DC and Marvel, people have been tracing things, and sometimes they get yelled at and sometimes they don't. But it's not like a crazy thing that only Ken Penders has done there. But just like the way that he's constructing the plot and everything else that he's revealed so far, it doesn't instill much confidence in me. And I would love to just be able to read everything that he's written so far and like just make notes and say, hey, why don't you do this so it's not as terrible as it's going to be. And
do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when a kid has an idea and it gets too big for him, you know? He's like, oh, I want this and this and this, and it's gonna have this and this and this, and it's like, okay, it's good to have goals, but focus on what you can do right now, you know? Like, focus on, do it one step at a time, you know? Don't talk about the movie or the app or anything until you work on the main starting point. And yeah, that's where an editor would come in. Just someone to say, yo, we need to start, you know, we need to roll back a bit. You know, let's look at where we are and work on that. You know, let's not plan that far ahead just yet. 'Cause as far as I know, like, I was just reading the article here that he posted. He is working with someone, but he doesn't state the relationship of the person he is working with. Someone named Bernie. No idea who this Bernie is, but
Bernie's his wife.
Bernie's his wife.
Yeah.
Okay, did not know.
Who's
that
also
I've never heard the name Bernie for a female.
Well, it's Bernadette. Bernie's short.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that makes sense.
And also, Sonic's mom was named after her in the book. Yeah, that's why. A little piece of trivia there. Yeah.
Right. So, to sum up, Who here is going to buy the inevitable release of
No.
book 1?
No.
If it comes to Canada, I might. Now, mostly because A, I am absolutely terrible with money, as you can tell by my amiibo collection, and B, I have a bile fascination for things, you know. I like to buy stuff that I won't, you know, I think might be garbage just to then show to people. Also, I might do a video for the Sonic show with it, maybe in the future, but I might. But it depends on if it gets brought up here, because I'm not going to order it from, I don't know where he's even going to release it.
Well, I think I'm obligated to, because I did write a 16-part series on Mobius 25 years later, and I got to write about the sequel, right? On the front page of Sonic Retro, sonicretro.org. Visit it today. Register. Maybe you'll make it in.
I mean,
yeah.
the sad thing is its release might come before the next Sonic game's release. It's sad to say.
I doubt
but it's
that.
true.
Maybe it'll come out when Duke Nukem 5 finally rolls off
Nukem
shelves.
Forever 2.
When Sonic Adventure 3 comes out.
Of course.
Whoa. That implies never.
Sonic Adventure 3 came out in 2006.
Okay, we're not having this. We're not doing this. We're not
Then it
doing
came
this
out again
here.
in 2008.
So, in summary, Ken Penders. LOL. We go for a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to defeat Donnie. Yep, that's definitely what we're going to do. We will have to solve a problem about him not being here. But after the break, when we try and sell you something you don't want, you are then going to listen to a guest from last week on Tom, your episode. You had a guest. We actually had a guest on your episode, and we invited them back because you thought, you know what? Poor Jennifer last week. She
won the defeat Donnie, though, to be fair.
It was
But it wasn't
a quiz hosted by Tom, minus sound effects, minus music, minus charisma and charm. So
it was Calamity. I did warn you, it was an episode of Calamity.
charisma, uniqueness, nerve and talent. But so I said, come back this week. We will do it properly. Unfortunately for her, I've not told her Donnie's not here. But don't worry, we'll see you after this quick break, and we'll play Defeat Donnie. Who will win? We will never know. It's not biased at all. See you guys after this break. Hey guys, this is Jay. Just a quick little interruption to your show, as I want to give you a wonderful offer. Do you like books? Of course you do. If you don't like reading, what's wrong with you? However, you might be a bit like me. You enjoy books, but do you have the time to sit down and read a book? No. But luckily audiobooks exist, and if you're like me who listen to podcasts and stuff, an audiobook is a great way of still enjoying books without having to worry about reading. And if you're a bit like me, I know a lot of people do have to struggle with reading and stuff, so this is a perfect way to still get that content. Audible are a fantastic service. They have thousands upon thousands of books of all different varieties. Fiction, non-fiction, etc. And they are offering you guys a month's free trial, which includes one free book. How can you decline that, really? Now, there are a variety of good books on there. One that I'm quite interested in at the moment is called All Your Base Are Belong to Us, How 50 Years of Video Games Conquered Pop Culture. It's a really in-depth look at the history of video games via interviews of the gaming's greatest innovations, both its icons and those unfairly forgotten by history. All Your Base Are Belong to Us sets out to answer many questions, exposing the creativity, odd theories and passion behind the 21st century's fastest growing medium. They look at the history and behind the scenes of games like Grand Theft Auto, World of Warcraft, Crash Bandicoot, Donkey Kong, The Sims, many, many more. It's a really good listen. If you want to download that book or any other book from their vast library, what you guys should do is go to audibletrial.com/Poxxy. That's Poxxy. So yeah, if you want to get your free audiobook with your 3-month trial, then go to audibletrial.com/Poxxy. Let's get back on with the show. Sorry about that. Welcome back, everyone. It is the Opinion Zone, episode 23. Now we got all that Penders bollocks out of the way, we can move on to the wonderful world of defeating Donnie. Now, for those of you who don't know, basically, Defeat Donnie is a little quiz we like to do. Donnie is all over the internet. He is infested everywhere like a tumour, a very polite tumour, but still everywhere. Doesn't need to be everywhere, really. And we question his integrity and need to be there. We feel that as much as we love Donnie, maybe he's not the most qualified person to be infected all over the Sonic community. So every week, a member of our audience challenges him to see who actually is the genuine Sonic fan and therefore should be the role of Donnie. Now, Donnie.
What's up, Donnie?
You right, Donnie?
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
you sound really masculine.
Canadian.
It's okay. Just had some burgers, because, I'm American.
Okay. Wow, Donnie, you sound like a stereotype today.
I mean, is it really different from any other day?
Okay. So what we're going to do, Donnie, is we are going to go to your newsroom. Are you ready to go to your newsroom, Donnie?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, here we go. This is really strange. Let's go.
Jay, you don't know the meaning of word strange.
Bam, bam, bam. I love that bit. Right. We are in the newsroom. Look how gloriously well lit it is. And look, I've invested, due to the amazing wealth we make from this podcast, from all those audible adverts, we now have an audience.
Kind of nervous, gonna be honest.
So first I must introduce everyone we have in the studio. Firstly, myself is J. Eggman, hello. We have wonderful Donnie. Hello, Donnie.
Hey, what's up,
There
Donnie?
we have, far in the distance, my glamorous assistant, Pete Trisha. In the audience, as always, we have Tom.
Hey.
And by my side, special guest David the Lurker.
Hi.
And, of course, with every quiz, as always, we have someone to challenge the Donnie, the magic of Donnie. We have the wonderful Jennifer from last week. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Now, Jennifer, last week you played Defeat Donnie, and while you were defeating an actual Donnie, unfortunately it was a show hosted by Tom, which therefore makes it void.
Hey.
Aw.
So, this means you're on a proper show today, which means you get to defeat Donnie legitimately, and by that I mean Donnie the understudy. Say hello, Donnie, to your competitor Jennifer.
What's up? This is the other Donnie.
No, you're the only Donnie.
That's right. That's what I meant.
Yep,
Will the
there we
real
go.
Donnie please stand up?
We can't, it's audio. So, Jennifer, I'm not going to go too deep into the rules, so you remember how it goes. If you get a question right, you will hear a wonderful noise that sounds like this. If you hear... What? If you get a question wrong, I don't know what I'm doing. You will hear this noise. Okay? So, we will go through 3 rounds to determine who is the ultimate Sonic fan. Hopefully Pete Trisha is genuinely keeping score in the background. Yes, Pete Trisha?
Yes, boss.
Fantastic. All right. So, what we do is we flip a coin. Jennifer, if you call the coin. If you get what you called, you get to go first. If you don't, then it goes to Donnie. Do you understand?
I think I do. I mean, I don't know. Could you explain it again, please?
No, we're on a very rushed time. Heads or tails? And 3, 2, 1. Call it. 3,
Tails.
2. Do tails then. Better be tails.
Tails never fails.
And it is tails.
Yay!
Right.
Can I ask one quick question?
No.
Oh.
Go on.
Oh, has anyone ever called heads?
Yep.
Because
I mean,
every
this
time
is the Sonic show.
Right, I'm just wondering. Like, if someone just wants to be that dick, and
I think once, and it was Tails, so they learned they learned their lesson. Right.
Okay.
It's Tails, which means you get the first question. All right, are you ready, Jennifer?
Yep.
Cool. Here is your question. Sonic Adventure made its way to the Dreamcast in the UK finally in 1999. As was the case for most European releases, the back of the case had text in 4 different languages to save on printing costs for regional releases. What 4 languages were they?
Okay, I'm just gonna guess here. I'm just gonna guess random languages here. So, English, French, Spanish, and Italian?
Let's see if that is correct. I'm sorry, it was English, French, Spanish, and German.
I was thinking German! Oh gosh.
Right,
Sorry.
Donnie,
Yes.
your question. To celebrate...
I'm ready.
Good. And slightly delayed. To celebrate 20 years of Sonic, Jazzwares released a series of figures that represented each era of Sonic. Each character came with a small enemy figure to battle with. The year 2000 figure was represented with Shadow. But what enemy figure was also in the box?
I'd like to say it's a gun beetle.
Let's see if that's correct. That
There
is
we
correct.
go. That's how we do it.
What, in America?
Miracle.
Right. And that's the end of round 1, which means it's time to go to the glamorous and, I must say, very attractive Pete Trisha. Pete Trisha, what are the scores so far?
Well, Jamie, the lovely Jennifer hasn't managed to score anything just yet, but the magnificent Donnie, for freedom in America, has scored 1 point.
Oh my goodness. Right. Which means we move on into the second round, which is Name That Format. What I'm going to do is I'm going to list each of you a video game, and you have to tell me every format, console or otherwise, that game was released on. Should be fun.
All right.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jennifer, you go first. Okay. Jennifer, tell me, what platforms was the following game released on? Sonic Lost World.
Wii U and 3DS.
Let's see if that is correct. Unfortunately, it has just been announced that it's coming out on PC as well.
I wasn't sure if that was going to count.
So, never mind. It still could win. It's not looking good, but you could still win. It's fine. Right. Donnie,
Yeah.
what? Are you still eating your burgers, or...
Huh?
Are you still eating your
No.
burgers, or...
I'm petting my bald eagle.
Okay. Right. I hope that's not a euphemism. Right, Donnie. Donnie, here's your one.
Yeah.
Tell me what platforms this game was released on.
Right.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
All right, here we go. Just gonna write it down first.
Nope.
Okay, so we got Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U, PS Vita, PC, 3DS,
And... I'm going to say arcade.
Is that
And
your
that's
final answer?
That is my final answer.
Good. Shall we see if you're correct? That's the bit where you say yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Good work. Let's see if you are correct. You missed out iOS and Android.
Oh.
Those aren't even real gaming consoles.
It can't.
Those are
They're
cell
platforms
phones.
General.
Cell phones
Those are
is
cell
still
phones.
a platform. I didn't ask what consoles, I said which
You're not a
platforms.
gamer if you play on a cell phone.
Listen here, American! Don't argue back. Donnie never argues
300%
back.
Mad right now.
Go wave a flag or something. Right. Jennifer.
Hope that's not another euphemism.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
here is yours. What platforms did this game come out on? Sonic 3D Blast.
Would this be counting if the game was in a compilation game?
No re-releases, just original releases for this one.
Okay. Sega Genesis and Sega Saturn?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if you are correct. It was also on PC. Oh, never mind. Donnie,
Yeah,
what are you doing now?
chillin'.
Okay. you got really, American pride, and now you're just chilling. Cool. Good for you. Right, Donnie, what game?
Yeah.
What game? Now, what platforms was this game released on? Let's have a
Right.
look. Sonic Unleashed.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. We got Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, PS2. That's it.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
You sure? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see if that is correct. While my sound app crashes.
Can I just go? "Eh?"
Oh
Because
jeez.
That
You
was
missed one.
incorrect, unfortunately. Once again, you missed out the mobile version.
Cell phones are not real.
I wasn't aware that there was a version of that from Unleashed.
it was very well known, but it did exist, and it's not that great, but it's there.
So,
Oh, it's there.
it exists. And I'm not being funny, Donnie. As a writer for TSSZ News, you should know these things. Research. Right. That is the end of round 2, which means we go to the glamorous and rather sexy Patricia and find out what the scores are. Patricia, what are the scores?
Well, Jamie, unfortunately, none of our contestants scored a point that round, so the score remains at 1-0 to Donnie.
Wow. I don't think anyone... that was a short clap. No one was prepared for that. Right.
I'm feeling up my life.
Now, we come
You're
to
next time, that one.
we come to the last round. Now, in this round, I've done a few different things that people enjoy. People enjoy the rounds where I describe something and you guess it. People have enjoyed rounds where I make Donnie spell something. And people have enjoyed rounds where I do things backwards. So why not do all three in the same
I knew you
question?
were going to say that.
Oh god.
So, for this, what I'm going to do is describe to both of you a Sonic character. Okay?
Right.
What you have to do is not tell me the name of that character, but spell the name of the character backwards.
Oh, jeez.
Gosh.
Michael Hacks.
This will be interesting.
You will be timed, so if we feel you are writing it down, we will be disqualified.
I'm putting away my pen and paper.
Okay? So no, if you and ah for too long, it will all go straight to. Okay?
Right.
So all in the head, alright?
Okay.
Okay. Jennifer, it's you first.
Okay.
Please tell me which character I'm describing by spelling them backwards. Amazing. This is high quality entertainment. Right.
Can you say I was being fed?
Here you go, Jennifer. Here's your first character. Black and red, this hedgehog skates his way through emo adventures.
Okay. WODAHS.
That's correct! Yay!
Yes!
Yay! Right. Donnie,
Yeah.
here's yours.
Right.
You don't have to give the full name, just the main name everyone knows the character for, okay?
Okay.
Okay. This evil mastermind has a high IQ, yet despite that impressive moustache, has yet to win against Sonic.
Is it NAMGGE space period RD?
Let's see if you are correct.
Yes,
Unfortunately, no, the correct answer was Dr. Robotnik. Never mind. Right.
Sick burn.
See, I was gonna go with that answer, but of course I thought it'd be the other way around where you wouldn't accept that one.
Right. Wow, Donnie answering back. Jennifer, your question. You ready, Jennifer?
Yep.
Cool. She lived in a period of war where she opposed her father's warmongering ways. During this time, she befriended the local Chow and their guardian Chaos.
LAKIT.
Let's see if you're correct. That is correct. Well done. Right. You ready, Donnie?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Cool. Created by an evil doctor, this robot has the will to disobey his master and follow his own path.
Okay. It's AMMAG.
Let's have a look and see if you're correct. Unfortunately, the
God
correct
damn
answer
it!
was Omega. Never mind. Right. Jennifer. Jennifer?
Yes.
There we go. Here's your last one. What name am I describing? Spelled backwards, obviously. First seen in Sonic Adventure 2, this annoying robot helper just loves to give you advice all the time.
Okay. OAHCOMO.
Let's see if you're correct. That's correct. It was indeed Omo-Chow. Right.
I could have started another way, but I thought that would be a bit offensive, so I left it out.
Right. Donnie.
Yeah.
Your last one. Here we go.
Okay.
Part of a special trio, this bird uses their gear to outrun the competition.
Alright. It's TEJ.
Let's see if that's correct. Sorry, it was Wave.
Brontosaurus!
It was wave. I do apologise. I thought because I said this bird, which can also be English slang for a woman, it was a really obvious clue. I don't know how you didn't pick up on that. Never mind.
See how it is.
Right. Donnie, you're slightly turning. into bad impressions of Family Guy characters. Right. Let's go to the final scores. Pete, Trisha, can you tell me not only what the scores are, but who our winner is?
Sure thing, Jamie. Well, the scores are Donnie didn't score any points at all there, so he's still on 1, whereas our guest Jennifer managed to score a massive 3 points that round. So the score is 3-1 to Jennifer, making her the winner today.
Yay! Right. Well done, Jennifer. Are you happy?
Yes, I'm very happy.
Donnie, how do you feel?
Could have been worse.
Right.
I can hear him gnawing on a turkey right now. While the American flag is flapping behind him.
Bless.
I think he's just nomming on the flag and...
Right. Jennifer, you have been an awesome guest. Thank you ever so much. Congratulations on winning. That is now a second week you get to be Donnie. That is a privilege no one else has had, so make sure you don't abuse your powers now.
Then again,
I'll try
I don't
not
think...
to.
And it's been awesome. If you guys listening at home want to defeat Donnie, which let's face it, time tells us it's not hard to do, then you need to go to thesonicshow.org/The Opinion Zone and click on Defeat Donnie. And who knows, you could get the chance to defeat this very American man. So,
Yeah, that's me.
that is definitely 100% you, Donnie. Right, after this quick break, we are going to jump into the Uncle Poxxy helpline, see what questions we can answer today. But again, thank you all, thank you ever so much, Jennifer, and we will see you guys after this break. Donnie, don't cry.
I won't. It's not American.
Hey guys, this is Jay. Just a quick little interruption to your show, as I want to give you a wonderful offer. Do you like books? Of course you do. If you don't like reading, what's wrong with you? However, you might be a bit like me. You enjoy books, but do you have the time to sit down and read a book? No. But luckily audiobooks exist, and if you're like me who listen to podcasts and stuff, an audiobook is a great way of still enjoying books without having to worry about reading. And if you're a bit like me, I know a lot of people do have to struggle with reading and stuff, so this is a perfect way to still get that content. Audible are a fantastic service. They have thousands upon thousands of books of all different varieties. Fiction, non-fiction, etc. And they are offering you guys a month's free trial, which includes 1 free book. How can you decline that, really? Now, there are a variety of good books on there. One that I'm quite interested in at the moment is called All Your Base Are Belong to Us, How 50 Years of Video Games Conquered Pop Culture. It's a really in-depth look at the history of video games via interviews of the gaming's greatest innovations, both its icons and those unfairly forgotten by history. All Your Base Are Belong to Us sets out to answer many questions, exposing the creativity, odd theories and passion behind the 21st century's fastest growing medium. They look at the history and behind the scenes of games like Grand Theft Auto, World of Warcraft, Crash Bandicoot, Donkey Kong, The Sims, many, many more. It's a really good listen. If you want to download that book or any other book from their vast library, what you guys should do is go to audibletrial.com/Poxxy. That's Poxxy. So yeah, if you want to get your free audiobook with your 3-month trial, then go to audibletrial.com/Poxxy. Let's get back on with the show. Sorry about that. Hello, welcome back everyone to the Opinion Zone. I'm just unplugging cables everywhere around me. It's complete chaos. Unfortunately, Donnie had to go. He choked on his American flag, but he will be back next week. This is the point of the show where we ring the Uncle Poxxy helpline, and we go for a variety of the questions you have emailed in to me, and I get to read him. Don't forget, if you listen to 2 episodes ago, we had set up a phone line you can actually ring and leave us a message. That phone line was revoked, so don't ring that number anymore.
Wow. Do I want to ask why?
Nope, you don't. Not maybe when the show's finished recording. So let's ring. Now, unfortunately, because I've unplugged all my cables, I am in a bit of a pickle as I've lost my telephone. But don't worry, because I have a backup. I have my rotary phone. So, bear with me 1 second. I'll just go get my rotary phone. Found it. Let's pick up the handset and dial the numbers. Such fun. This takes a long time.
I found out the hard way. How do I say? You gave me the wrong number last week.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized. Please hang up and try again. The number you have dialed has not been recognized. Please hang up and try again.
Oh, tits. Well, it would appear the Uncle Poxxy helpline has been closed down, so that's quite concerning. But
I should have
don't
told you that
worry,
last week, but no
'cause-
one was around.
because I stalk him. I'm inside his office anyway, which is perfectly natural, not at all weird in any sort of way. So I'm here right now. Yay! Yay! Poxxy seems to have closed everything, and there seems to be nothing here. It's all darkly lit, but I do see a person in the corner, hovering under an office table. He looks like the guy I spoke to a month ago, actually. Hello? Is this?
Hi.
Oh God, you're terrifying. You know this place is. I think no one takes. When did you last work? There's no phones or anything here.
It's been boarded up for a little while, but there was a phone still going off a couple of weeks ago.
Did no one check to see if you were here before they boarded it up?
No, I still had a small supply of food down in the basement of my little barbecue.
Oh, thank goodness, because I was going to feel bad because I had no plans on giving you any of my food. Well, since you're here and I've managed to get in this boarded up building without any prior explanation, can I ask you my questions?
Sure.
Good, awesome. And by the looks of it, you have a friend of you who looks just like David the Lurker.
Well, it's because that's my name. I hide in the corner. I'm lurking, and I hear the door shut. I get scared, and I hide in the closet. Then I realize it isn't a closet; it's the desk. It's very small, very small drawer in there.
I knew your name online was David the Lurker, but I didn't know you literally lurked in table drawers.
Occasionally. It doesn't pay as well as you'd think.
It doesn't pay at all, I imagine.
There you go.
And
try.
Because we don't have Mr. Poxxy with us, but I do have understudy Poxxy. Tanner, that's you.
Oh, hello. I'm not doing this accent.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Do it, Tanner, or I will talk.
Fine.
Do you want a round of
I'm
applause?
the understudy of Uncle Poxxy.
There we go. Awesome. Right. Let me read some questions and see if we can get some wonderful answers, shall we? I'm so excited.
I'm worried.
Okay. Right. First question is from Dong.
It's an interesting name.
I'm not reading his surname because it's a fucking meme. Fuck that meme. Fuck John Cena up the ass. Right.
It's John Cena! Do, 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 do.
Anyway, Dong Cena asks,
He said it anyway.
Yo man, when will we get a game where you do absolutely nothing except for bet on who will win in a fistfight between Mario and Sonic.
Ah, you see, if you know the underground circuits properly, you can already do that now.
That's a good point. So yeah, go out, look for one. Next question is from I Am Having the Same Existential Crisis as Gamma. He asks, Dear Uncle everyone who's listening in this room, what would happen if Batman decided to have an all-out battle to the death with Twilight Sparkle during a full moon, as Sonic is becoming a werehog in the middle of Donnie's house after running past 3 gophers, a squirrel, and that weird guy down the street who likes to dress as Big the Cat, who used to be an astronaut but was fired after eating all of Kanye's Cheetos?
This is really easy. What it is Donnie takes a picture of everyone and instills himself into another 1,000 fan bases.
This is Kevin Penders' storyline for his next arc.
You're not supposed to spoil the Lara-Su Chronicles Book 4. Well, I think it depends on how long Batman has to prepare. Because if he's given ample time, he'll win. But if he's just thrown into it unexpectedly, well...
But here's the question, is Sonic a Doombot?
Sorry, I didn't understand that because you didn't sound like Uncle Poxxy.
Alright, here's the question! Is Sonic a Doombot?
I feel so patronised right now.
Right, next question. From Maffen, don't know. We had a question with him previously. I
Mathan.
mispronounced his name. Hello again, Poxy. I'm quite surprised you guys said my name pretty well, at least my first name. I applaud your efforts, but as per usual, let's cut to the chase. My question is, and this is a one to everyone here, do you think Aaron Webber is doing a good job handling the Sonic social media accounts, and is there any way he could improve on? Godspeed, fellow Sonic comrades. I have so many opinions on this, but I will take it to you guys first. What do you think of Aaron Webber's Twitter
I literally
efforts?
had a conversation with non-basement dweller Mr. Sonic Yoda about this the other day. As a serious answer, yes, I think he's doing a very good job. I don't know. Well, I do know. The answer is yes. He is doing a good job. Could he do it better? Probably by being continuously active, but he's doing a good job. He's got interest. He's got mainstream interest, and it's building towards the brand. So, yes.
Interesting. David?
Well, I mean, Aaron Webber is a very adorable human being. Even though I don't know exactly how old he is, but I just see him as like a 12-year-old forever. And like, he's got a very youthful quality to him that exceeds both space and time. And I would say that I think he is doing a good job. I mean, he's Aaron Webber. You just want to pinch his cheek and say, Aaron, you're a Webber. He's a Ruby Eclipse. I don't know what that means.
Aaron, you're a Webber.
You're a Webber. I mean,
Oh.
Wow.
I don't know if he could really. Maybe if Sega wasn't watching him, he could do whatever he wanted, and that might be better. Or it could be a fantastic catastrophe. But
It's fine, because Aaron is a Webber.
he's a
That is now the Sonic
Name
Show's new
of
theme.
the episode. Now, Uncle Poxy, what do you think, Uncle Poxy?
Well, he makes me laugh, and that's good enough for me.
Very good. My opinion, Tom, we didn't ask you. My opinion is the opposite of everyone here. Sonic social media should not just be LOL memes. It's I hate it so much. Why would you have an argument of IGN and go, look at you, you rate our games bad, LOL. Aren't we shit? That's not what your brand should be. There is a key difference between acknowledging your flaws with a light-hearted smile and basically being the bullied child at school who likes to get beaten up so he can hang out with his bullies.
One would argue that the way social media works these days, that if he wasn't so outlandish with his responses and everything he was doing, it wouldn't explode as well as it was. If he was just grade A typical community manager, then...
The time to subscribe is now.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe to Aaron, because he's a Webber.
But basically, we're going to move on. But everyone here thinks he's doing... Everyone here thinks he's doing a pretty good job. I'm just a bit like...
I'm indifferent.
Okay, and maybe I would be more comfortable in his self-degrading if they had a good product, which has nothing to do with Aaron. He has no control over the output of the company, really. If Aaron Weber wants to collab or feature us in anything, then I love you. I will have your gabies.
Gabies.
They're gay babies. Right, Christopher Walken down the back alleys asks, and this goes out to...
Are you going to do it in the accent?
Listen.
Well,
and this question goes to everyone, but Tanner... no. Tanner and then Uncle Poxxy first.
Oh.
Okay. Can you do an impression of Christopher Walken stuffing all the Chaos Emeralds in his mouth?
Oh, wow.
Oh, ow, my jaw, ow, frick. Okay, ow. What's up? Ow!
What are you doing?
Tanner, stop fisting yourself.
I know, I was putting my hands in my mouth to do the voice, and I unhinged my jaw.
I said do an impression, not fist yourself. What are you doing?
That reminds me of Sonic fanfic I once read.
So me and Tanner.
What you've done is do a noise of someone dislocating their jaw, but failed to do the Christopher Walken part.
Hey, I'm Christopher Walken. With all the Chaos Emeralds in the mouth. That's right, Christopher Walken. Chaos Emeralds. Walken.
Moving on to Tom. Okay. Pete?
No.
And David?
Okay, let's see. I'm not always the best at impressions. What? Hold on. No, hold on, wait.
We'll wait.
So, Christopher, wait, how does he do that?
Hello?
Christopher Walken! No, that's not him at all.
Hello?
Now I put these Chaos Emeralds in my ass, and now I'm going to take them out and clean them in my mouth. Yeah, that's about all I got. That was terrible.
Yes, it was. Never mind, right?
Well, I mean, my Tails impression doesn't even sound like Tails, so...
Don't worry, you could sound like Tanner with two fists in your mouth.
Okay. So, we are now going to leave the Uncle Poxxy closed down studios. It's a shame to leave this lovely building. We've had so many fun times, but I guess all good things come to an end. However, you guys, we may be ringing a new helpline in the future. If you want to send a message to that helpline, which will be manned by Uncle Poxxy and a variety of other assistants, you can ring our Sega Fanboy advice line. All you need to do is go to the sonicshow.org/the opinion zone and click on Uncle Poxxy. Just click that link and submit your disgusting fan questions, and we will answer them if we can read them out on air. Right. Thank you ever so much, people. I will let you go back in your drawer, and you can cower back under your desk. And bye-bye, Uncle Poxxy.
Wherever you may be.
Right.
Wait. Oh my goodness. Allah is over. Thank goodness. Right. We come to the end of today's episode, which is such a shame. Is it? I don't know. Thank you all. Thank you ever so much. Firstly, I must say thank you to Pete. thank you for jumping in at the
No
last
worries.
moment and being a delight as always. Where can people find you on the social media landscape?
At Titans Creed, at Gaming Phoenix, youtube.com/Project Phoenix. All the good places to go.
Good
Watch,
places.
comment, like, subscribe.
Yes, the time to subscribe is now. Tanner,
Hi.
thank you for being a stand-in Canadian and dislocating your jaw by double fisting yourself. I didn't know you were into that. So
You see,
There's a lot
Jamie,
you don't know about me, Jamie. There's a
Jamie,
lot.
if you read the book that Tanner's currently printing now about the fanfic between me and him, you'd find out a lot of things.
okay, some things listeners don't need to know. Tanner,
Hi.
people can find you on the
Yes.
Sonic Show, but if they want to find you personally and talk about fisting, where should they find you?
Well, there's a lot of fisting talk on my Twitter, which is at TannerLPeer. You can also find me talking about fisting nigh daily, in fact, twice daily, on my channel, Goodbye 18,000. And other than that, don't get in contact with me on anything else, because that's private, and I don't want to talk to you creeps. I mean, what?
Um,
Oh.
and David, thank you ever so much. It has been a pleasure to have you on the show. Hopefully one day we'll have you on again. I hope this has not tortured your mind too much, sir.
No, it was more fun than I thought. No, I enjoyed it. I'll come back.
He wasn't
I'll come back
expecting
for
much
anything.
fun.
Yay!
Come back when I'm host again.
Nope, not happening ever again. We've had this discussion. David, if people want to see your work or find out more about what you do, where should they go? Plug your wag.
Okay, well, I do have a Twitter. It's at DT Lurker, Lurker. I don't use it all that often, but if I'm doing terrible things about Archie comics, I'll take pictures and post them on there. I do write on the front page of sonicretro.org. It's been a little while since I've written anything really long on there. Probably the Sonic Dreams collection thing was the last big piece that I wrote on the front page. So if you haven't read that, and if you weren't too scarred about Ken Penders' discussion earlier, there's the 16-part Mobius 25 years later review I wrote. It's only 50,000 words. That's a thesis paper for someone getting a doctorate. Other than that, I don't know. I might do a podcast somewhere at some point, but I think that's it. Retro, Twitter, and yeah.
And Tom can always be found in the depths of hell. So,
Yeah. No one ever wants to look for me.
so
That's why I work here.
as we do at the end of every episode, first we must discuss what we have learnt. We have learnt today that no one really understands what Ken Penders is doing. We have learnt that Donnie, regardless of who he sounds like, still loses at contests and is terrible at guessing names spelled backwards. And we have also learnt that you should never put two fists in your mouth and try to talk.
Unless you're Tanner.
Unless you're Tanner, in which case that's all you should do ever. As we do at the end of every episode, it's time to say goodbye in a special way, and because Tanner did such a good job of channeling Uncle Poxxy via the East End of London,
No. No.
can you all say goodbye in your best Cockney accents?
How am I supposed to do Cockney? I'm from Essex as it is. Then I go to sound posh. Alright. Guys, you start.
I think
I'm
Tanner
not
should-
starting.
Tanner.
Why, oi,
No.
oi. You've been watching the Sonic Show, you have.
I sound Scottish.
Tom?
Right, mate. It's end of show now. See you later.
Tanner?
Cheeky Nando's and all that bruv by fire.
Tanner, go fist yourself.
And David?
What am I supposed to do after that?
You could always double fist yourself.
Oh, all right. Well, I've got...
Remember, one in each.
Oi! Oi, governor! Wait, bye. I don't.
It's like an episode of Captain Birdseye.
And I don't. And I don't have to do it because it's my show. We will see you guys next week, every Tuesday. No, it's when we record. Fuck off. See you next week. Bye. Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
I know you were. You're an absolute penis.
I wasn't prepared for a chicken nuggets. Where did you get that? Because that's something I say. And I say that without any irony at all.
I'm afraid.
If you Google Cheeky Nando's, you get all the funniest stuff.
You do. It was really funny because when the Cheeky Nando's stuff started coming out, I was literally at like a convention up by over in the northwest-ish, and it had some of the Americans over, and they went, "Well, we're going for a Cheeky Nando's then." And they were like, "What?" They didn't even understand what it was. It was just, so you just decided to go to Nando's when you wanted. It was just like, yeah, that's it. It's just like, wow, we've just had a Cheeky Nando's then. Don't. Some bloody tool bag. It's been. I'm not kidding. It's on the internet. A lot of it.
It's been a meme for ages.
Huh.
It was
Because he's double-fisted himself and
Because
tried to be
Tanner-
cockney.
no,
Because
it's from
other than YouTube,
Tumblr.
Tanner exists solely on Twitter and Tumblr and YouTube.
He's a
Those are
troll.
the three. Those are the three places he exists.
He's a Canadian troll.
Cheeky.
Ugh.
I'm so lost right now. Hasn't come the way of America.
Is it? Wow.
They do have a few Nando's over there.
Oh. Let's see. According to Urban Dictionary, cheeky Nando's is a term used by fuckboys over social media in order to facilitate their need for attention by adding the epithet cheeky to the restaurant chain Nando's, usually followed by with the lads, aka a group of tool equal to or greater than the original tool posting the update.
Tanner, you're a fuckboy. You are the biggest of the fuckboys.
The quote is, anyone that says their Nando's is cheeky deserves a peasant's death. Oh.